Once you've created the design of your page, you've done the hard bit. But now we need to make sure that it's functional and doing what it says. So for this first page, we want to get people to sign up for something free that you can offer them. So we can get their email address and we can then start emailing that person to try and get them to buy your lower price products. So the idea is get them in for free, sell them a medium package, and then hopefully eventually get them on to paying one-on-ones with you and maybe larger, more premium products and offers that you have as well. So at the moment, when they sign up for this form, we haven't really selected a form yet. So we need to go and have a look at our form section and make sure we're adding the right form to this page. Because if I click on sign up guide here, on the left, it comes up with form and it's just default. So we want to make sure we have a free guide form or a freebie form. And another thing we're going to have to think about after is a thank you page. So we'll look at that too. So to go to forms, luckily it has a button, edit forms, already for us. So let's click on edit forms. And we are going to want to create a new form. So let's click on the black button in the top, new form. We're going to call this, for the purpose of this exercise, freebie. If that's how you spell freebie. Let's go on save. And here are some of the options we need to look at. So first of all, you want to decide, do you want a double opt-in or do you want a single opt-in? Kajabi recommend double, but I personally would always say single, because if they're going to enter their email address, we don't want to make it any harder than it has to be. Double opt-in is recommended because it helps with GDPR, etc. But that's to stop people purchasing large amount of data. But that's to stop companies buying huge lists of data and emailing them out. So I would say single opt-in, make the process easy. But of course, it's up to you, completely up to you. So I'm going to click on single opt-in. And now we can decide what fields we want. So for this purpose of this, for this exercise, a name and email is probably enough. But if you do want to get a bit more information, for example, what business they are, what budget they have, how many employees they have, etc., all we need to do is click add form field. We can select a field and choose some of the ones that Kajabi's already got for us. But if you want to add a field like some of the ones I just mentioned, we would go to create form field. We could type in, so let's add a couple. Let's add in company size. And then we can choose what type of form field we're going to have. So we can have a text, phone, email, text area, checkout, select box, radio buttons, etc., etc. So for company size, text is fine because it doesn't have a number option. So we'd go text and they could just add that in. You can choose if you want to make it required or not. I personally wouldn't make things required unless you really desperately need them, because we've got the people there. We do not want to make anything to stop them putting their email address in. That's why I normally recommend keeping these forms quite short. But just for this exercise, we can have a look what else we can have. So let's create how likely are you to sign up? Probably not a question we'd have, but here's an option. So tell you what, let's change it. Say, what type of business coach are you? And then you could do radio buttons. So you can give them choices. So you can say music and just put them all on a different line. Kajabi. You can have swimming coach. And we can save this. And you can add as many as you want. And it depends if you want to see when people are signing up. I personally get addicted to stats, etc. So I always want to see everything. So if you want to have notifications coming towards you straight away when someone signs up, just enter your email and then save. Then once you've done that and people start entering the details, you'll also find their emails in submissions as well. We can also add automations to our forms as well, but we will look at that later on, because ideally we want to send an automated email when someone signs up. But first of all, we need to get this form into our landing page. So let's go back into our landing page and just refresh this. Now, if we scroll to where the form area is, we click on the form again. And then on the left-hand side, instead of clicking edit forms, we're going to click on cross for default form. And now when we click on select form, you can see our lovely new freebie form is there. So let's click on freebie. And you can see it's added in some of these options as well. If you want to change any of the colors on here, disclaimers, etc., you can choose it through here. You can choose if you want to add labels or placeholders. I think placeholders is personally neater. You can change the size of the button, so we can make it full. You can make it an outline, make it large. You can change the colors, etc. You can change the padding if you wanted to. But I think this looks good to me. So we can save that. So now if I was to go into my preview and enter details, I can submit. And it'll go to this typical landing page form. So we're going to have a look at creating a nicer one in a second. But let's just check if it's worked. So if I submit here, I go to submissions, I can see that data's there already, which is fantastic. And I've also got an email through already. Fantastic. It's working. And of course, if you've got two forms like we have currently in this, you just need to make sure you've added the right form to both areas, because that's important. So if we wanted to add it here as well, we'll click on cross for default form, add freebie, and away we go. Let's save that. And now let's look at creating a bit of a nicer, more branded thank you page with maybe a bit more information on it.